So we're doing another round of palm tattoos, and mine are holding up as expected very well. Once you get them saturated, there's no problem. I get so many people who are like, "How often do you have to touch those up?"
Never.
It's like that's not how palm tattoos work. It's that most people don't get them saturated enough. Like skin, once it's saturated, it stays how it is for the most part. It's just a trouble to get there. But it's a total misunderstanding of skin that people think that it will just fall out constantly. That's not how it works. So I just wanted to mention that up front because I still get that kind of question all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're having to get them touched up, they're not in there, right?
They're just not in there. Yeah. That's all that is.
So this one is from Keith, and it says, "Did my own palm twice early in my career. I'm just need a second to absorb that. Didn't take heel out pick the first time around, so I decided to blast it again to document how extreme the healing can be when not applied properly for this part of your body. These were taken over a course of 2 weeks. Now I know how to make it stick, but probably won't end up going down that road. Don't do it yourself. Odds are you'll put your punches and not go deep enough. Dot that bad boy in." Yeah, I don't know how many times we can say it and other artists can say it. The people who are doing palms all the time, you want to dot it in. I even did a finger the other day, and the artists were like, "Did you dot it in?" And I was like, "Oh."
Any tissue that's like pretty, thick or like on an area of the skin that's really calloused, you're gonna have a better time getting your maximum depth every time. Dots work better for some things. Palms are like so often done with liners and even mags, and like it's no wonder they fall out, because if you're using mags touch down the least. They're good for color packing because they're dense, but they're not hitting as deep as what a dot would. Mm-hmm. So, but this guy knows that, and like you look at Terry's palms versus my palms, and though he was like brand new when he started, tattooing his palm, he would have approached it differently after doing mine. But even him, he didn't know that. I told him, I was like, "You got a dot, and try and blow out." By the way,
Did he do it after he did yours?
Yeah, he did his before.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't dot them, and they're not good.
Well, he's like, the thing about
But he's
Terry
also
is
probably pulling his punches.
He's a technician too, right? Like, so he as soon as you told him, that's how he's gonna do it.
He has an open mind. A lot of tattooers would be like, "I know what's best. I've been doing it," and then all of a sudden the tattoo is shit.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe just listen to someone who knows, the methodology of this. It's because you're getting maximum depth is what's happening every time. Whereas you see in this healed one down here,
oh man,
he was never in the maximum depth once. Nowhere.
Oh, I feel so sad.
Some parts are deeper than others.
I feel so sad for you.
But like most of this is really shallow in the skin.
Yeah, that had to have been just so.
And it probably hurt more too.
Yeah, I bet.
Because like you said, he's pulling his punches. But when you do that, you actually get more pain. Like if you don't actually get in the right layer, you're working too high in the skin, and it's doing more damage to the skin. Takes longer to heal, hurts more.
And then you're having to go over it again and again, and you're pissing the skin off every time you go over it. That's something that I'm learning.
Yeah, more overwork and worse result, and guaranteed more painful heal. Mm-hmm. So, and longer. You're going to be healing this thing for a month or two.
Yeah, ideally you want to hit each spot once and be done with it, right?
There are those people too who are like, "Oh, a palm takes like 2 months to heal," or whatever. I don't think it's like that at all.
I don't feel like yours took that long to heal.
It is longer than most things, but that's anywhere on the hand.
Interesting.
So, unless you've got dog shit hands, worse than mine, and mine are pretty bad, and you're healing them like a jackass, they shouldn't take that long to heal. Like there's no difference in my palms now from where there was a few weeks after I had them done. Like none. The spot that was wobbliest has a giant callus over it and the snake's mouth, and that's been like that since the start.
I really want my palms done. Not big things though. I want the tiniest things ever.
Yeah, that's probably wise. It's not what everyone loves getting done. So
I don't love it.
Anyway.
I won't love it. All right, so the next one is from Luana? Sorry if I said your name wrong. Long story short, I feel like we're coming into this weird. Okay, long story short, I was to believe that palm tattoos are the worst for pain. That's what I believe too. So I got one. Okay. I do this a lot to prove myself that pain should be tattoos and otherwise. I have 2 biological kids. I gave birth to both without meds. Holy cow, good for you. Slept through most of my first child's birth during having a 4th degree episiotomy. I can't say that word. Sorry, guys. The second was even easier and was home within 24 hours. You sound like a trooper. Anyways, I have no idea why I'm saying that much detail other than maybe I don't have a normal pain tolerance. But when I got my palm tattooed, it felt like less than a scratch. No shit or shade to the artist, just looking for tips on how to help get it to stay. If I had a passport and money, I would have gone to Luke Ashley.
See, I'll get to that in a minute.
Either way, here's a file of my pics. Sorry, I read this last. If you say my name, it's pronounced Donna.
Well, why would you read that?
But with an L, so it's Lana. Okay.
Doesn't matter. Let's move on. Why would you read that last? Yeah.
Why would I read that first?
So, again, this is exactly what I was saying. Like, I don't care if I don't think palms are the most painful thing either. I've said this, and there's going to be a story here coming up that has the exact reverse opinion of that. But none of that stuff matters here. This is exactly what I just said. Here it is. Mag shaded it in for some reason.
Yeah, that's strange. Why would you make shade
That's not solid fresh. I can see through almost all of that fresh.
Right?
Like, that was never finished.
I've never seen a Meg shaded palm.
Oh, no, they're very common.
Really?
And no, you don't need to go see Luke Ashley. Terry could get this result here.
Yeah.
He could do this result here. He could do this on your palm tomorrow.
Right.
Luke Ashley is great. There's no shade to Luke Ashley, and he's got a science to what he's done. And I actually really like all of his work is really cool. I like the style of it.
He's
I like
really
the style of it
experienced.
more than the technical part of it even. So if you want something like, if you want a Luke Ashley piece on your palm, sure. But you don't need to go that far to get a palm tattoo done.
I just think that you pay attention to the artists in your area. If you see someone with a palm tattoo,
easy
you
to
ask
learn
them where
this.
they got it. Well, that's the thing, though. Someone in your area is going to be doing these okay.
It's very easy to learn this.
Yep.
It's just that most people, they're not going to know what needs to be said or done to get this result. Mm-hmm. But it's not complicated. Terry has done his and mine. And both of mine are pretty much perfect palm tattoos.
Yeah.
If I wanted this skull on my hand, not that I would take this idea, but just for example, it's okay, just dot this in.
Yep. Pointillism.
Yeah.
Dot.
This skull can be done this way. It just has to be done with dots, not mags. That anyone can saturate. And Terry doesn't even know how to blow out on purpose. But that's what I told him to try and do. It's we did that, and we have more or less perfect palm tattoos. So it's you don't need to go that far. You just need to have an artist with an open mind and willing to dot. That's really it.
And you need to be patient.
I don't think palms are the most painful thing either, though. I will say, I've gone on record with that, and it upsets some people, but it is what it is.
Right. And then it's sad because you just have a muddy hand at the end. This is probably all gone by now.
It's just going to keep getting worse because it's not saturated, right? It's very unlikely that it even stays that good.
You probably maybe the little teeth. Yeah, some of the outlines stayed a lot better.
This is where when people say a palm keeps falling out, it just keeps losing, it's this. This is this will keep going because it wasn't saturated properly. Mm-hmm. It's in the top layers of the skin, and they're going to keep flaking off quick. But if you get below that, then it will stay forever.
I think because your palm has really thick skin, those layers are already dead. They're just there.
No, they flake off a lot.
Yeah.
So, but if you get it in beneath, if you get it in the layer of skin you're supposed to get tattoos in to begin with, which is why you should dot.
Yeah.
Get that maximum
It's
depth.
just harder to get in there.
Then that degradation thing doesn't really happen that way.
Because you're in the right layer. It's sitting in the right layer.
It's just hard to get there. So, Anyway, we've got another email here from a guy who's been to the shop a few times. He's been tattooed by Terry a couple times here.
It says, "Hey Remy and Sarah, here are all the palm tattoos that got lost in cyberspace. These were a journey. You will see fresh and healed photos from my session with Luke. Each palm took 4 hours to tattoo, so mine was a marathon and not a sprint. The healing was no joke, 6 weeks from start to finish, and unlike you, I had significant pain, most likely from inflaming the nerves in my hand due to the heavy black work that was done. After about 6 months, the nerve inflammation pain seems to have 90% passed." Holy cow. I can't imagine having nerve pain for that long.
I think this is going to be an exception to the rule. This doesn't really happen often. Now, I will say I've seen these in person and they look pretty good. They're never going to be like pitch black like your normal skin is.
Nope.
Like that black is like more gray blue.
Mm-hmm.
But like they look good. And Luke Ashley again is a badass. So yeah, this is where like I would recommend going to Luke Ashley because he did a particular style on the palm, right? It's not just a skull.
No,
right?
His tattoos have a look. You see them and you're like, oh yeah, that's a Luke Ashley
Well,
palm.
yeah, and it's really clean and it stayed really clean. Mm-hmm. And like, but if you're just looking for something fairly simple, and some people do go to him for some pretty simple palm tattoos, it's like, why are you wasting your time going there? But anyway, I'm not going to get it. I can believe this was painful because he got that black really, really solid. To get solid black work with dots is a lot of dots. Like it's a lot. Some of those probably blew out like into each other, which made it even more solid looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is the intent.
Because those dots were so tightly packed together. You could see when you close up on this, every little dot in there. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't look like that in person. Like it looks smooth now.
I wonder what size of needle grouping like he uses for like his general dotting. Like if I'm dotting in black, are you using a bigger needle grouping or a smaller needle grouping? I think
Terry used a 7 or a 9. Like it's usually a thicker
but
dot.
Not massive.
But like in areas where it's thinner, you would dot thinner, right? Mm-hmm. So there are some areas that he lined here too. But
yeah, but he knows what depth he needs to be in.
I would never question his. Yeah, exactly. Like because he's doing lines on palms every day, right? Mm-hmm. He knows how to keep his maximum depth, and that's a skill for sure. But for the uninitiated with palm tattoos, everything should just be dots.
Yep.
And even when you're lining things, you can do dot lines, like the line of my moon and my snake here. That was dotted together. And some of this might have been too. But when it's done well, it's hard to even tell. So, crazy. But they do go this like weird blue-gray kind of look. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that skin is.
Be prepared.
So there's something about the palms that just doesn't want to be black. And that's why I never want to black my palms out anyway, because the best result is, gray-blue.
Well, it's under a lot of layers of weird, tough skin, right? There's no way it's going to look clear and fresh.
Yeah, so and here's the healed picture, and this is more or less what I was saying.
Yeah, these look great. I really like these designs.
Yeah, and you can see this we've seen in the Evil Blackout's palm, where the underside of the thumb seems to be one of the hardest spots to saturate, because that's where his was like rubbing off. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Had that, you could see most of the skin through his blackout on the inner thumb, or like the inside of his thumb here does not want to take ink.
Yeah.
Up here you can see that's where it blobs up the most out of everywhere. So I'm finding that really consistent with these palm tattoos that I see, that for whatever reason that underside of the thumb is a bitch to saturate.
Again, I'm wondering if that is like just even thicker skin.
I don't know. It's probably really calloused. I mean, mine are super thick.
Yeah, right. So. Well, it probably depends on the person, and that's a spot that you're using and rubbing and meh.
But yeah, your mileage will vary with palm tattoos. I'm not going to stick my foot in my mouth here. We have an example of someone who went through extreme pain, and we have an example of someone who says it was like a scratch. Mm-hmm. But the one who went through extreme pain has the better tattoo. So maybe
maybe you need some extreme pain to get it in there.
Maybe a little extreme pain will get you your palm tattoo.
Although I think his extreme pain is also a bit of a special case. Sounds like you got a bit of nerve damage in there.
Yeah, it could be. Could be just the length of time spent too. Not most palm tattoos don't take 4 hours.
Wow, and everybody's body's different too, right? Like,
well, most palm tattoos are smaller, right? Done in sections or whatever. So I'd be willing to believe that 4 hours on your palm would be an excruciating experience. There just isn't time for that much work in most palm tattoos, so it's hard to say whether this is a one-off or not. But yeah, I don't know. Palms will never be my least favorite spot to get tattooed, but I wouldn't say it's the easiest spot either. So I just think that some things get overblown. It's the same thing with the armpit or belly button or nipples. Some of these spots, they get almost like, they get this weird, like, hyped up thing,
yeah.
And I would just say it's better to experience it yourself.
I wish that the ribs would get that weird hyped up thing where people are afraid to get
do.
them.
They
no,
do.
they're not.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Every little girl ever is
no,
like, I
no.
want my ribs tattooed.
People talk about rib tattoos that way, too.
Yeah.
But rib tattoos actually do smart quite a bit.
They do.
I don't think they belong in that upper stratosphere of pain either, though. There's definitely worse out there. And it's usually, for me, I've found it's things that you wouldn't expect, like the lower back or the inside of the ass cheeks. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's talking about what it felt like when they had their asshole blacked out. You know what I mean?
That's because there's like 2 people who've had their asshole blacked out.
Guaranteed it's worse than most of these other fabled spots, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like you should always try and experience it first before you make up your mind, because even here we have an example of someone saying it didn't hurt and an example of someone saying it was the worst, most excruciating thing. So your mileage is always going to vary with these places.